Now, the House of Commons has voted tonight. We don't have the result yet, but it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that it will decide to spend vast amounts of public money on a new railway line known as HS2. £42.5 billion, though ministers hope it might come in even cheaper. The go-ahead for the first stage of the line was more or less assured by cross-party support, though a number of Tory ministers with seats which the line will run through claim to have unavoidable commitments in Estonia and elsewhere this evening. They ducked out of voting. Many argue that plans for the HS2 are unique anyway and predate the days when people could work while travelling. Well, anything to get David Grossman out of the office and onto the trains.
Like the trolley service on the London to Birmingham Pendolino,
Sure you don't want a drink of anything?
HS2 is, we are told, laden with goodies. Much of the benefit, according to the official figures, comes from shorter journey times, particularly for business travellers. We're promised millions of fewer wasted hours.
But as critics of HS2 have pointed out repeatedly, plenty of people do lots and lots of work while they're on the train.
It may be unnecessary, but to prove the point, we decided to see if we could record and edit our entire film whilst we were on the train.
OK, so what's next?
OK, so the first guy we're going to meet is a bit of a critic of HS2, and he should be just over there.
Since you mentioned it, we were asked to move into the less busy first-class carriage by Virgin, as it would be less disruptive to passengers trying to work.
Hi, Ryan. Tell me, why do you think so many people still remain unconvinced by the economic case for HS2?
Well, I think one of the big problems is the government's rationale for this project keeps changing. Initially, they said it was all about reducing the time that people took to get to Birmingham and the northern cities, and so it would enable them to work more. And then when that was debunked, they've now moved on to talking about regeneration of the whole of the north of England. There's not really any evidence to suggest that this will occur as a result of HS2. It hasn't had particularly significant economic effects in East Kent, nor in certain areas of Spain which have significant high-speed rail networks.
This is a special announcement for passengers at Birmingham New Street.
1 hour 20 minutes later, we're in Birmingham. HS2 will take about 50 minutes for this journey. The cost for this section of the line, £21.4 billion, which includes a pretty chunky contingency. Is the saving worth the cost? In Birmingham, I stopped off to meet a supporter of HS2 who thinks that's entirely the wrong question to ask.
If Birmingham doesn't work, the UK doesn't work. Our railway line is going to be full. We can't upgrade the existing line. Once we concluded that, we concluded fairly rapidly we should build the best that we can. That happens to be a high-speed line. But Birmingham's growth and its potential, integral to that is having great connectivity. And we cannot allow the railway to freeze up, which is what will happen.
Do you think the case for HS2 has been helped by the rather formal way that the business case is presented, talking about time saved, that sort of thing?
No, and I think there's general acknowledgement in the industry that the modelling for transport schemes in this country is out of date. So you do get forced into a very narrow set of parameters around time saved. So I'm afraid the country's system of assessing transport needs upgrading.
Back on the train, the Chambers of Commerce point about capacity is illustrated by some pretty chocker standard class carriages. Hang on, say opponents of HS2, look at the space in first class. A bit of reconfiguration and you could achieve more capacity at a fraction of the cost. But critics fear the politicians are in no mood to listen.
Well, a huge amount of political capital has been invested in this project, and the governing parties and now the opposition have committed to do it. Arguing in the sense that this would hugely regenerate the north of England. I don't think that's the case, but because of the sunk costs that have been invested in terms of that political capital, I think it's very unlikely that the major parties are going to change their stance now.
Well, we're in Euston. We haven't quite finished editing the piece. If anything, we could have done with 10 more minutes, and that's not something really that HS2 could have helped us with.